I call the Commissioners' meeting for December 5th to order. We were just informed that Commissioner Kenney will not be here today. And so we got a little problem with minute taking. So we got somebody coming up to take the minutes, or record the minutes anyway.
I could have done that.
And also Janice Sullivan won't be in today. So the first item on the agenda would be public input. Mr. Babson.
Mrs. Spencer was unable to make it today because she's taking the person that she cares for on a medical appointment, and she wanted me to ask, have you formed a committee for the trail for the nursing home, and if so, who's on it?
Well, you're the only member right now that's on it.
Okay.
Will is going to be on it, representing the area in question, or where it's going to be. I would also ask Mr. Brooks, who is contact with the Boy Scouts that are going to be building some of the structures,
Okay.
to be on that committee. He'd rather not, but I think he should be because he's a contact. So he's either going to be on it or going to be a liaison with the Boy Scouts. And one commissioner will be on it, at least one.
Would that be me, or would that be two out of the three?
Yeah, let's put it that way. Any and all commissioners could be on it.
Okay.
And she volunteered, I believe, to be on it too, right?
I believe
Maureen
so.
Spencer?
I believe so.
Okay.
Oh, good.
I don't know, are there any other suggestions of people that?
No, but I guess she was kind
Somebody
of
from the
anxious to
nursing
see
home.
whether it would begin getting informed,
Mm-hmm.
start making some plans.
Will, have you had a chance to walk the area?
No, I
No?
haven't. I've looked at it on the map.
Oh, okay,
That's the extent that I've been involved in it.
okay. We need somebody from the nursing home.
I would think
Recreation
the recreation director.
department head, that would be Susan
Shivachi.
Leclerc. Susan Leclerc from
Susan Leclerc,
Recreation. Yes, Will?
Just a suggestion, would someone from the Friends of the Nursing Home organization, since they were donating, weren't they helping with some?
Maureen.
Would someone
Maureen
like to be
Spencer's
it?
on that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I think also the chairman of the Extension Council, she was the one that brought up the idea that we could get somebody from AmeriCorps to come in and do clearing and so
That was
forth,
Noreen,
and had the contact.
wasn't it Noreen?
Lorena McDonald.
Anybody else want to have any input into this committee? Or that should be on this committee?
Any way we can get somebody with some real excavating and ground site work on the committee?
It'd be nice if we could have somebody from the public, at least two members from the public that might be interested in such a venture. I know one lumberyard that agreed that they would participate as far as donations for an exercise,
Stops, whatever.
yeah, where the stops are.
How about a delegation member?
That's a good idea. That's about 8 people. I think we ought to have somebody from the public.
And
Maybe another
Wendy,
individual from the nursing home.
Scribner,
Yeah,
if you can get her.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to get her. Busy, everything. Bed bug.
that's probably enough for now. I mean, that's almost 9 or 10 people.
The more you have, the less you get done.
Okay. All right, other public comment? Daymond.
Last night, we talked about the proposed budget, and you seemed kind of ambivalent about it. I mean, how would you characterize it? Would you say you have it as low as you can get it?
Well, right now, to be raised by taxes, it's 9.7%. To me, that's too high.
9 point, what, David?
At least
It says 9.2 here.
All right, 9.2. I've got an older one. These have been updated. 9.2. Our actual operating budget is 3.2%.
The operating budget's what, 28 million?
Thereabouts.
I don't have the bottom line.
The amount
Yeah,
of the increase or the budget?
Budget.
the total budget. I'm sure it'd be around 28. We will be posting that on the website, the complete budget. And it will be discussed on Monday at 9 o'clock.
When the delegation comes to cut it, I mean, do you feel like there's anything obvious that they can just,
It's 28,193.
do you feel like there's anything they can cut?
We'll find something.
If they ask, I think there are some areas that could possibly be reduced. I'd rather have it reduced rather than cut. I mean, it's a subcommittees, and apparently, unless it's changed, proposal was to have a meeting of the delegation on the 7th of January. We've never had that in the past. It's always been like the 3rd or 4th week of January, so that we can get some figures in as to what we have left over. We don't know yet exactly what kind of a surplus we have on the 2012 budget. We're estimating what we're going to have. I would assume that the full amount that's left over in 2012 would be put towards reducing taxes for 2013. Mr. Babson?
I didn't hear Commissioner Solomon. Did she give you the final figure just then?
28,
28,021,825?
123, I think it was.
Well, there's this, and the one you sent in to the state was 28,021.
Oh, maybe that was that.
825.
Yeah, I had the figure before we took things
Okay.
off.
28,021,
Okay.
825.
Okay, any other public input? We have minutes to approve?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we do, and it was a pleasure reading them this week.
What date are we talking about?
This is the 28th, last
28th,
week.
okay.
I have some typo errors, but most everything was readable.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman, is public input done?
Well, I've asked for it and I didn't get any, but you got more?
Well, since you're going to get into the minutes in a couple of
Okay.
seconds, I'd like to point out that, halfway down where it starts, Commissioner Kenney stated in that non-public Someone outside the county who has an appropriate health
Yeah,
care background.
I was gonna get that.
That should be a human resource background,
No,
I would
it should be
think, or a
House
personnel background or
of
something.
Corrections background.
You got it done?
Yeah,
Okay.
it should be House of Corrections background. And further down, under Jason Johnson, I think with Mr. Babson's approval, I'd like to redact. David Babson asked for page number clarification on the ongoing dialogue. I don't think that's necessary. Also under that, it says David Babson asked about researching the cost of fuel. I think it was David Sorensen who did that. And he asked Steve Brown for input. I can't see that David Babson would have asked.
I think that was me that did it.
You asked?
Yes.
Right, well, okay. Inappropriate, but okay. Under Dewhurst, just change the capital D in discussion to a small d, and correct spelling of my name, and ask to, say that, that's fine. On the next one, under Howie Chandler, change you have a different one than I do, but the third to the last sentence has to do with pellets versus propane. A discussion ensued about using propane, using the propane heater from the old nursing home to heat the water for the laundry. That should be explained. And on the next, under next page, it's Commissioner Sorensen. There's just a typo there. And under Daymond Steer, this is the last page, or at least what I have for the last page. Clarification on the total budget. It should read DAS, retirement, medical insurance, and unemployment insurance. Take out the other insurance. I don't know what that refers to. And the final paragraph, she then moved to go into non-public, says, I hope it says that, and period after generated, and a capital A roll call vote. But given what we've had in the past, that was very good.
You make a motion?
I move to accept the minutes as corrected.
Okay. I'll second it.
Oh, I'm sorry. In the note that we got from Commissioner Kenney, she wanted a statement that she made to be in the minutes. I believe it should be toward the end of the meeting, because yeah, here it is, the filing fee, discussion for 501c3. She wanted the statement that she, about the Doobie Fund, that she made a statement about it not coming out of the Doobie Fund. And she wanted that in the minutes, so we'll have to put that in the minutes as well.
Okay. All right. Motion's been made to accept the November 28th Commissioners' meeting minutes as corrected. All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye, then so voted. We still have November 21st, November...
I think I gave in the corrections, my corrections for November 21st last week.
Okay, we don't know where they are though, do we?
I gave them to Lori.
Okay, so we don't.
I assumed that they were taken care of. I actually didn't read it, so I guess I didn't have an opportunity to read this before.
Okay. Well, let's move on then.
Yeah, I do. A couple of things that come up at recent meetings. One of the things that came up at the meeting was regarding the salary for the county attorney. And in the minutes of the delegation, because they are the ones who can, the only ones who can make changes in elected officials' salaries. In the minutes of April 16th, 2012, the delegation voted for and adopted an increase in salary for the county attorney to $72,100. So that is the answer to that question.
That motion was made and seconded?
Yes.
Okay.
It
'Cause
says...
I thought he had asked for more and they reduced it, so that's the figure that they reduced it to?
That was my notes as well.
Okay.
It says, motion, Representative Merrill moved the delegation approve the salaries as stated in the executive session for elected officials. Seconded by Representative Knox, voted 9-2.
Okay.
Additionally, I was asked also to look into something having to do with the House of Corrections and the UNH extension with regard to Belknap County extension people and/or I believe it was Merrimack extension people coming in. I have been unable to get in touch with Sergeant Phillips regarding this. I left a message on his email, on his voicemail today, and hopefully he will get back to me. Do you have an answer? Do you know anything about it?
I have spoken with Mark Linehan, I believe, out of Merrimack, and the programs will be coming in starting in the third week in January.
And the purpose for these programs?
It's a parenting piece by piece
I see.
program.
And
Inmates.
it's my understanding that usually Ann Hamilton does this, but she was unable to do this, and that's why
She's been
busy.
reallocated by the co-op,
Yeah.
so she will no longer be doing that, so we're going to get the services out of Merrimack.
Okay, so that answers that question as well. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. You can disregard the message then.
Anything else?
Oh, yes, one other thing. Although we had made mention of this some weeks ago, after the convention for the Association of Counties, a letter was received today, and it's actually to you, David, and this is from New York, from the State of New Hampshire Executive Council. As Executive Counsel for District 1, I want to extend my official and personal congratulations to you on winning the 2012 County Commissioner of the Year Award presented by the New Hampshire Association of Counties. Employment in public service is New Hampshire's county government. In New Hampshire's county government is an honorable profession that provides important services to citizens who reside in each of our 10 counties. Receiving this award is an honor you can be very proud of. I am sure the citizens and staff in Carroll County are proud to have you serving in county government. Congratulations. Please accept my sincere thanks on a job well done. With all best wishes to you in the future, I am sincerely yours, Ray Burton.
Thank you.
Out of respect.
It is an honor to be recognized by New Hampshire Association of Counties to be the Commissioner of the Year. I really appreciated it. I guess we'll move now into our budget. Will? Not into our budget,
Yeah,
but into our
I was about to say-
reports.
I was about to say, I thought we were finished with that for the
Yeah.
while.
Good morning.
Good morning, Will.
Just have a couple of quick things for the commissioners.
Bill, I heard that there are areas, I heard on the radio this morning, there are areas in the world where people are stealing hay.
Really?
Yes, because it's not had a good crop.
Wouldn't surprise me, I guess.
Guard your hay.
The couple things I had this morning is talking about the pole barn. We've got that disassembled. We got the call from the insurance company, it was the clearance, I should say, on Friday, because the adjuster came out last week, took pictures and notes. Friday afternoon, she said that we could start taking it apart, so we started Monday. And between Monday and yesterday, have it pretty much all done. What's left today is just basically pounding out a few nails to the boards and re-stickering them up and have it all stacked up for the winter time. As I
Did you
said,
find that there's a lot of good things left that did not get damaged?
yeah, I think there's a lot of good things. I think there's a lot of things that we can reuse. And even the other things that may have got damaged or had to be cut back because of damage, and they may not have a necessary place in the barn in the future, there's still a lot of good pieces of wood that we can use for repairing on other barns and different projects that we do around the farm. So there's still a lot of good materials. I think out of the whole, as we took it apart, the whole barn, we took maybe 3/4 of a load of scrap of the old green truck out to the burn pile out of that whole barn. So that to me was pretty good as far as that goes.
Do you have an idea of how to avoid having this happen again as you
We've different design things that I've talked with Dave Senecal about, some suggestions there, and some additional bracing that we may have been lacking out there due to the heavy winds. So we got a lot of different ideas that we're going to put forth. I'm working on a new budget, and then I'm going to go through the materials of what we have, and I can cross those off the budget that we don't need those because those are going to be reusable. And then, of course, we'll be waiting to see what the insurance has to say, and then I'll be able to have more of an idea money-wise for the commissioners. But there are a few different design things that we're going to do different on the next time. So the adjuster came out last week, I said, and he also called me yesterday to verify some numbers on what he's gonna try to turn that into the insurance company, I guess, and then we'll wait to hear from them. Already talked about the budget and the sorting out the materials of what's good and what's bad. We've also been cutting wood for CAP customers and started to have some of those orders coming in. I think we had one last week and 2 or 3 already this week, starting to roll in, so working on those. This weekend we had the little bit of snow, freezing rain type deal, so we were sanding and taking care of the walkways out there. The sanding truck, we did some work on that. Last year we bought the brand new truck with the sander. One season of the sander sitting in the back of the truck, I think I showed you, Commissioner, of it was starting to already rust, or the surface rust on the bed. So we had, a few weeks ago, I had rhino liner put in to help prevent that. But the downside is the way the sander sits on the bumper, they can't rhino line over the chrome. It won't stick to it or whatever, but it was hitting the chrome and it was starting to peel the chrome off and rust that. So we got some rubber tubing basically that we cut and formed to go around the bumper to protect it so that it hits that instead of hitting that, to try to protect the bumper. So we did that. We've also been working on the baler. I talked about having, it was operational, but I thought it was some bearings in the auger. It's actually the bearings, I think, were fine. We're going to replace them while we're in there, but there's a wooden, I was quite surprised, there was a wooden, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's around, looks like a big donut that sits in there, and it's wooden, and what's happened is that's turned, it's oblong the center circle, and then the wood sticks, and so it's made it worse. And so we need to get that part in, and the parts guy called me this morning and said it's in, so at some point when we get a rainy day, it's an indoor project, we'll put the baler back together with that, and then I would like to have that cleaned up and put away for the winter time.
Do we still have the old baler?
I guess
The replacement, or did we sell that?
Oh, that was on long before I came.
Okay.
We've only ever had the one baler since I've been here. And this baler was bought in 95 or 96, I believe. So
Okay.
it's, we're probably going to start having it. I think it's still a decent baler, don't get me wrong. I just think that we're going to start, being the age and the amount of bales that have gone through it, we'll start to have a few things that need to be replaced, such as this, coming in the future. Hopefully they come at the end of the season or an off time to when it's easier to fix it than when we're in the middle of production. And the last thing, I was previously asked of me to have a handout of new versus old on the wood processor labor. So I had that. Of course, I would hope that, I didn't really hear what happened with the budget-wise, but hopefully this will be something we'll be sharing with the delegation on this. And basically I just took an average of what we do on a daily basis and then the figures of the research on this new machine to come up with this. And with the old machine, we do about 5 cords a day, maybe 6 on a good day, depending on the crew. And this is just a processing part. This isn't stacking it or anything like that. It's taking it from log length and basically getting it into the truck of cut and split that I'm comparing here. And that takes 2 staff members at a minimum and a minimum of 4 inmates. Those are minimum numbers to accomplish that 5 cords a day. I based the $30 an hour for each staff cost because that's the same rate that we use for any of the other outside work that's done out here for their calculations. So I just based that. If it's me, it would be a little bit higher, but I just went with the 30 across the board for easier numbers, and that's where I got that number.
That includes benefits.
Right, and that's the number that we charge each of these buildings when we do something over here. I figured that was an easy place to start to keep a fair number. So, you know, on average, by the time you warm up the machinery in the morning, you take a break for the inmates, you take lunch break, you know, break in the afternoon if they need it. If anything goes down, just average about 6 hours a day. Sometimes we get called away to do other things throughout the day, so we don't get a full 8 hours per se out there. So I just base these on 6-hour days out there. So that gets you your cost, and then I just divided that amount by 5, and it cost per cord for 2 staff members on the old processor. Now if you go down to the new processor, that's going to be 1 staff member, no inmates on that, and same hourly rate. And now we're going to be doing 18 cords, where I got that figure is 6 hours a day. This new processor, they're saying 3 to 4 cords an hour is what it can process. Obviously that's going to take a little while to get to that level, because I'm sure that's operators' mechanical ability for a little bit too to get to that high. But based off what they said was what I went here. So 6 times 3 is 18 cords a day for your 6 hours. It gives you your cost there, and then your cost per cord for 1 staff. But the important part, I mean, we can look at this money and say, okay, that's like about a $60 difference per cord with this new machine versus the old machine. And then we can have a bunch of critics sit here and tell us, well, you forgot this cost or that cost and everything else. But when it comes down to it, it is kind of what I talked about in this paragraph a little bit. It says, for those that don't have a piece of paper, it says that these figures are not just for the processing part, not the whole wood operation. Inmates will still be used stacking, bagging, and loading part of the operation. This processor eliminates the handling of the 4-foot wood pieces at least twice, therefore lessening the chance of injury by picking up the heavy wood. So right now, for people that don't understand what we do, the logs are out there, we have to cut them 4 foot, and the inmates stack them up, and then the processor comes along, and inmates have to pick the 4-foot piece up, put it on the processor to run it through. So that's what I'm talking about. We're eliminating those 4-foot chunks of wood. And also, with this processor, chainsaw use would be also limited, therefore lowering the risk of potential dangerous injuries associated with chainsaw use. Anybody that runs a chainsaw, I mean, you can be safe as you want and put all the protective gear on, and knock on wood, usually we're pretty good, but you know, there are still risks there that potentially could happen.
I guess we'll understand how the processor chainsaw use would be limited. You're still cutting up the same amount of wood.
Yes, but you're not using the chainsaw. With this new processor, I take the...
Oh, with a chainsaw cutting up the 4 foot?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
The whole log processor.
Right, exactly. You take the tractor, pick the whole log up, set it on the brow, and it goes through and comes out into 16-inch split pieces, basically.
Okay.
So, with that being said, to me that's the important parts. Also, just this morning I made some notes and about the conversation I was hearing, and part of my thing to also talk about is, if I have 1 staff being able to do that, that frees me up a staff member to go do other things. You know, we put in for that I'd like to someday hopefully get some cattle going out here. Mm-hmm. There's fields that can be cleared back, stone walls cleared back. Okay. Just this morning you guys mentioned about the trail, putting in these trail systems. I mean, that's going to take somebody, even if we hire someone to come in at some point, the farm, I'm assuming, is going to be the ones maintaining them. So that's going to be other labor that we're going to be stretched other ways. And by having this, freeing up that staff member from doing that process, we can have that other staff member going out and doing those other things. I don't have a value for those other things, but that's what I could come up with for numbers.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Babson?
Let me ask a little question.
Go ahead.
Does this have a conveyor at the end?
Yes, sir.
Or do you dump the split pieces on the ground, and you gotta pick them up?
No, it'll have a conveyor. Was put in the budget to have a
And
conveyor.
and that's part of the unit itself? Or is that a separate purchase?
It's would be within the same purchase, but it is a separate conveyor.
Well, I understand that, but you're not going to Osgood to buy the conveyor.
No.
and Timberwolf is part of the unit, but it's
Yes.
an extra cost.
Right, it's all part of
Okay.
it would be the same purchase.
Thank you.
I think you need to look at putting this out to bid, even though, what'd you say, Timber King, or what's the name?
Timberwolf, of course.
Timberwolf?
We'd have to put it up a bit, I understand that.
Yeah, okay. And I think also look at different models. You said last time there was different models, and you were set on this particular one, but there are others. You might want to try to research some of that.
Yeah.
Have any questions?
No.
Anybody else got any questions regarding this? We're still talking about 65,000 total purchase. I think there was 58 in the budget because you had 9,500 or something left over from last year.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, Mr. Bass.
I'm sure someone on the delegation will ask, Mr. Chairman, if you purchase this piece of equipment that works almost 3 times faster than the other machine, do we have enough customers that we need to supply wood to?
I believe we do. I believe that,
This is both household wood as well as campfire wood?
yes, it does both operations, and because of that, that's why I feel that we have enough to justify it. There's other machines out there that cost a lot more, can do more, but I don't think we can justify those because of a question like that of will we have enough customers to justify that money. That's why I wanted to not look at the exact, for example, the circular type that we talked about, which is a lot more money, a lot more production, but we don't have that big of a customer base. So this, I think, fits our labor force, our time frame of when we have to do it because of all of our other things that are put on our departments and the amount of customers that we have. I think that it's a good fit for all of those categories.
Payback time, you also ought to try to include in this as to how long it's going to take to pay back the costs of the equipment.
I have a
Melissa?
question related to this.
Yeah.
If I could request for myself and my friend at the Sun a copy of that handout that that Will passed out. And also, I was wondering how many total cords of wood are currently processed and sold every year?
We're on average, I'd have to look it up to give you the exact amount, but off the top of my head, I can tell you we're around 150, give or take on either side of that. If you needed more, clarification, I can look it up, but that gives you an estimate. I happen to have two.
Thank you.
This includes both household wood and campfire wood?
Yes, yes.
Did you say this was 65,000 or 165,000?
No, 65.
There is no chance of doing any construction on the pole barn
At this
at
point?
this point? Or you're covering up everything?
We're covering everything up. There's going to be, what I'm hesitant of to start would be is because there's going to be some of the center sonotubes that had the concrete that have some of the rods that came out that hold the brackets got bent to the fact that we can't use them. So we're going to have to redo the sonotubes. I think there's maybe 4 or 5 out there that are going to have to do that. And with the colder temperatures, I don't believe that you can do the concrete as easy. If there wasn't for that, then I would say we'd probably get started until we couldn't go anymore. But because of that, I think that we're going to have to hold off.
Okay. Okay. Anything else you have?
I don't have anything.
All right.
Yeah,
Very good.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
In regards to payback time, I think last week we talked about $35,000 of revenue. So would a fair payback time be a year or two? Considering you can make it process it faster?
Off the top of my head, what I would tell you is we made $35,000. Argument could be that we spent almost $15,000 to buy the wood, so that's a net of $20,000. So 20,000 by 65, we're looking at maybe 3 years.
Okay.
You know, gross it was 35,000, but net after you take the price of the wood out would be the 20,000.
Plus maintenance costs and
Right,
repair
and add
for
all
heating.
those things in, but also we can reduce, if we have our timber cut like we've been talking about, we can reduce the cost of that 15,000 in buying wood and having it off our own property. So when you add all those other things in, the maintenance and all those things, and you take away having our own wood, I think you could safely say it would all balance each other probably.
And it seems like if you can make it faster with less staff, then your payback time would be less.
Right.
Okay, thank you, Will.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Really?
That's what Janice.
Okay. Okay, Jason, please.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Do you want a copy of the population? Or was just-
No, that's okay.
I'll take it.
I'll look at it. Yeah.
This morning, we had 49 in-house. We have 1 weekender, 0 out on electronic monitoring, 5 transfers, total population, 5 on pretrial release for a total population of 60. Took in 13 inmates last week, 6 were repeaters, and 19 were released. I received a call from Attorney Murray earlier this week regarding a potential grievance that you guys received from an inmate. Captain Fowler emailed our responses to you guys on the 19th of November. I didn't know if you had an opportunity to look at that prior to
I
sending
haven't.
that
I
off.
haven't seen it.
No.
Yeah, it was, he emailed you the 19th of November, because I was copied on the email as well. So I just
Excuse
didn't
me,
know.
I didn't get that. For what?
It was in regards to a inmate visiting another inmate. It was a husband and wife. We denied the grievance, we denied the grievance because we wouldn't allow it. It doesn't fall under constitutional rights to receive that visit. So we had outlined all the supporting federal
Okay.
case law.
The grievance was given to the county attorney are you here to report on that, or?
No, I was here on something else.
On something else, okay.
Yeah, but I brought the paperwork, since you guys didn't have it, I also got a copy of the emails and
Okay,
had copies of the bail conditions for
okay.
the 2 inmates.
It was given to our county attorney to review and to respond to.
Okay.
He was to look up whatever statutes or RSAs or whatever pertain to it, and I don't know what he has done.
I have I was assigned that task.
Oh, you were,
and
okay.
I haven't finished the research yet.
Okay.
I'm working on it. I'm not sure what your timeline is for.
So did the attorney get a copy of Captain
Yeah,
Fowler's?
Apparently so.
Steve asked me, so I in turn gave it to him. But I just want to make sure that you guys saw that email that
No.
he
I haven't seen it.
emailed out on the 19th.
I can make a copy of the
Okay.
grievances from the house and leave them downstairs if that's what.
Okay, yep, that'd be good, thank you.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
For openness, can someone tell us what it was about? Was it 2 inmates that were in jail and couldn't see each other, or was it
Yes.
a husband and wife that you wouldn't
Husband
let
and
see
wife.
each other, or what is the?
Right. It was
Both.
the individuals in question sent in a grievance saying that we were violating his First Amendment right. In regards
Why?
to- because he was not allowed to see his wife.
And is his wife in jail, or
Yes.
is his wife?
Yes.
Are they in the same jail?
Yes. Right. All of our visits are non-contact, so we denied it. And then he filed a grievance, we again denied it, and we outlined all the federal case law that supports our decision in
okay.
regards to why we denied it.
That explains it, thank you.
So,
You said all contacts are all visits are non-contact visits.
correct.
So,
With the exception of professional visits such as attorneys
Right.
and clergy and things of that nature.
so if they're already non-contact,
Mm-hmm.
Why couldn't these two?
Because of how we have the visit set up, the public comes in from the, on the public lobby side, and the visitor comes in from, I mean, the inmate comes in from the secure side.
Is there anything to the point that, are these sentenced people?
No.
You know?
No. And furthermore, we've also allowed the, under Turner versus Safley, we've allowed a least restrictive method by allowing them to communicate via mail. So we do allow that. They just don't have the ability to have a contact visit at this point. So.
Is this an unusual situation to have both members or both people in the same jail?
We've had it before. We've had father-son combinations.
And this has never come up before?
Well, because they were housed in the same unit.
Oh, that's right.
So.
Is there any way of making it happen?
Under the way the
Yeah.
building is constructed, no, ma'am.
Okay.
No.
Was there any restrictions put on them by
The court?
the court?
The court had allowed them to communicate, but they just couldn't talk about their case.
Okay.
So, I just, like I said, I just wanted to see if you guys saw the email that you had sent over. This afternoon, I have a meeting to discuss the a new HOPE program, which is an alternative sentencing program that's being used in other counties around the state. So we're gonna, that's tentatively scheduled for 2 o'clock this afternoon. I looked at the minutes from last week. Thank you for noting in the minutes my opposition about the perimeter fence. And then I drafted this letter for the board to be placed in my file, if you wouldn't mind. And that's just in regards to the perimeter fence.
Okay, I will say that Kathy Geary gave this to me this morning. And we had budgeted last year $45,000 to correct the wall. And we only spent $9,013.
Okay.
So we have $35,987 left over. If we had that, what would your priority be as far as what you've requested for phones and perimeter fence?
Cameras?
And what?
The cameras?
No, I think we had, we budgeted the
I
cameras.
budgeted the cameras for this coming year.
Before you answer that question, I have a question regarding the
Yes.
cameras.
Yes, ma'am.
Of those that were budgeted for and that are in the and presently in the budget,
Yes.
are any of those cameras outside cameras?
No, because we did it for the TPZs for the inside.
How many cameras were we talking about?
We did 5 TPZs for because one for every day room. And then upgrading the recording equipment, and then some other changes to the internally.
So there shouldn't be any blank spots now in the, inside the House of Corrections?
Within the day rooms, and there'll still be, well, depending on the camera placement, there might be 1 or 2, but it'll be mitigated because we'll be able to move the cameras.
I know your point about having the fence around the women's portion of the jail is because people can get there and they can go up actually to the windows and converse or in some way have a conversation with the prisoner inside.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that area open for other than public? Is there any way that a prisoner would ever be able to be in that area?
When they're mowing the lawns on that side of the facility.
So we're talking about that. So it would just be by chance then that they would be able to pick something up if there was something dropped there.
Yeah.
I mean, you say that the women cannot converse with the men. There's a husband and wife who can't converse. So even if somebody told some woman that they were going to drop some contraband in that area, there would be obviously no way for her to pass this information along.
Correct. Yeah. If I follow you,
Yeah, I'm just trying to
logic,
see.
I believe,
Yeah,
I believe you're correct.
yeah, I'm just trying to see how, if the issue is for that, and it's not that I object to putting the fence up necessarily,
Mhm.
but I don't think it has anything to do with going up to the window, telling somebody on the other side that there's contraband outside. She can't get to it
Mhm.
because she doesn't mow the lawn.
Right.
Okay, so that information can't be passed along, is all I'm saying.
Mhm. But they still have the ability to throw something into their recreation yard,
Recreation.
Okay.
which they do have
That's
access
a different
to.
issue, okay.
Correct.
Yeah. I think the newspaper article that was in there regarding the perimeter fence, if I was a person reading that, not knowing anything about the jail, I would think that we don't have a perimeter fence around the jail. We do have a perimeter fence outside of the recreation yard on the men's side, correct?
Correct.
So therefore, we're talking strictly the area that would encompass the windows to the female cells and also their recreation yard, correct?
No,
No?
no. You don't, you do not have an established perimeter.
No, I mean, this, what you were requesting was for a perimeter fence to prevent people from going up to the window of the female cells as well as the recreation area for the female.
But it would also encompass, the way that it was talked about, would encompass half the day room population for your gen pop, your medium custody inmates, and your maximum security inmates, because that whole section of that building is all not secure.
Okay. Is the
That's what we're talking
maximum protection area for those inmates, that's not covered with a perimeter fence?
Nope. No, your only perimeter, if you will, is the back side where the inmates go out and have their recreation.
Right.
But you're facing the building, the whole left side of that
Yep.
building is
Yep.
all exposed.
Okay.
So at any point, anybody could walk up to any number one, not just the female population, but your max inmates. And
Recreational?
they could, yeah, they have access to the max recreation yard and half of your day room 4 population.
Okay. Okay.
So,
The fence the committee recommended with Jason was from the corner over to the recreation area, so that area was now secured.
Mm-hmm.
right.
Yeah, I think there's some confusion between a perimeter fence and a fence that goes around the recreation area. There's basically no perimeter fences, I don't believe, well, what I'd call a perimeter fence around the whole place. It's just a fence around the recreation area, and that's it, right?
Correct.
Well, we have a double fence outside the recreation area, right?
And recreation area only,
Yeah.
Yes.
right?
Yeah. And that area where that inmate escaped was fixed.
Yes.
Yes, the problem was addressed, correct. Right.
Okay. Well, getting back to my question, the three commissioners haven't had a chance to look at this because we just handled that this morning.
Okay.
But there is a possibility that that fence could be put up with the money that's left over in this particular item.
Okay. And just so I'm clear, Commissioner, that was $33,000?
$35,987.
Okay, so that actually,
Balance.
the requested number was $35,500. So you actually have
Okay,
the amount in excess by $400.
okay. So there's still a possibility that that could be
Okay.
done.
Anything that you could do to make that happen would be greatly appreciated.
Okay. Okay, you got something else?
That's all I have, Commissioner.
That's it?
I have a question before you leave. You talk about this New Hope
Yes, ma'am.
program. Whatever became of the program that the panel was working on, the recidivism program?
We actually put that on hold because we were looking at the schedules of the judge. I know you wanted to have the judge sit on that. And this was kind of a spin-off of that.
That's what reminded
Right.
me of it.
And so what we're doing is putting all the legwork together, and then we're going to present that at our next meeting when we do that.
Okay, nothing has been scheduled yet.
For that committee, no.
Okay.
Who's on the New Hope? Who's on this group, this committee?
That will
Is
be,
that probation?
it was myself, probation, the Superior Court Justice was going to be sitting on it because it's a Superior Court run program, County Attorney's Office, and the Jesse Friedman, the lead defense counsel out of the Belknap office. So we're just working out like the rules and regulations of the program and how it's going to be handled and things of that nature.
Okay. Is our inmate population down from what it was previous year?
At this given time, I'd have to go back and look year to year, but it is down.
Seems to be low.
We were in the mid-60s for the past few months, and now we're at 49.
Mhm.
So, and we get 3 people, I believe, being released over the next week or so. So yeah,
Okay.
the count's going down. It's pretty consistent for this time of year. Usually the count goes down, and then after January 1, the count goes back up. So,
Okay.
do you want me to give you a comparison where we were?
No, I'm just sort of curious because 49 sounds pretty low.
Yeah.
From what it has been.
Mm-hmm. It has been down, or it is down. We have been running in mid-50s, low 60s
Okay.
for a little while.
Okay. No questions? Thank you.
Okay.
Where is
What is Steve doing?
Mr. Chandler?
Steve is here. I want to see what he has to say. He's not on the...
Steve, you have something that you wanted to bring up?
Just
That's
quick issue. So,
Is this public, non-public? I'm not sure what you're here to talk about.
oh, well, it's related to Moulton versus Commissioner, Carroll County Department of Corrections.
I think not
Oh.
now.
You would prefer to do this in non-public? We can do it in non-public, and then if you guys determine that it's
Yeah.
public, you can reopen the meeting,
Yes.
if that's your preference. Do you want to come get me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
I-
I mean, I don't want to go into it and then have
Yes.
you guys say that that should be non-public, and then we'll, but,
Okay.
Let's just find out what it's
Let's
about
do that.
first.
okay.
Yeah, what do you got?
Taking a recess for a few
Yeah.
seconds. Considering I
You're not
can't do
even on there,
anything as
bud.
one
Oh, they told
person.
me 9:30,
Oh,
so I guess
that
we
must have been, you were supposed to be coming with her probably then. She's not
Oh.
here today.
Okay, I'll just wait then if if we're almost done.
Hey, Steve, as long as you're here, could you just
And you got,
give me, let me peruse that letter that I
Oh,
just saw?
yeah, it's basically just, that's what I.
Bravo. Great scrunches.
No, not this one.
Oh,
What about,
that. Sorry.
yeah.
So,
Love.
have you seen the letter to? This is the one that was sent to you.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay.
Thank you.
While we're taking a break, is the grievance, is that going to be public or is that non-public?
What grievance?
The prisoner grievance.
It was not requested to be non-public. It was sent to us individually. So I see no reason to have it non-public
Okay.
right now.
I think my friend and I from the Carroll County Independent would like getting a copy of that.
Copy of the grievance?
Yeah.
Let's just wait until after we speak with the attorney before we do anything. Thank you.
yeah, let's say that the county attorney is checking into what needs to be done regarding that. He's checking what the inmate has said in his statement. And so once that has been looked into, I see no reason why, unless it's requested that it be non-public by the inmate.
Was that the same one that he just mentioned, Moulton
Yeah.
versus
No.
Commissioners?
No,
Oh, it's a different one.
the inmate's name was not mentioned. Yeah. I don't know where Mr. Chandler is. Do you know where how he is by any chance, Rob?
He was in the morning staff meeting.
Mr. Chairman, could we discuss, since you're going to be going into non-public very quickly, could we?
Go ahead.
Why are we not returning the difference in the insurance money to the insurance company for the wall, rather than cost us
This was a-
$9,000 and they gave us $35,000?
This was a settlement with SMRT.
Wasn't the insurance?
It wasn't insurance.
Oh, okay. Well, the only thing that mentioned was insurance money, so I figured it was the insurance company.
We only spent $9,000 or thereabouts on the repair that the guy from Rochester did.
That's right.
Got a problem.
Keep in mind, what they did was, in the corners of one or two of the rooms, the wall had cracked. And what they did was, they put a three-corner piece of metal from the ceiling down to the floor. And as, what was his name, Batandi, out of Rochester, I think, was the company that did it, said that was all that had to be done, and that was satisfactory.
But then he said it wouldn't hold up over the winter.
Well,
Who said
we
that?
can't guarantee that anything would hold up, but
Tandy said that, didn't he?
Why would he say?
Didn't he say
Why
it
would
was
he say
only
that?
cost-
And the work that he did, why would he say it won't hold up? That doesn't make any
Did he,
sense.
did he
You
not?
say it was a short term?
Didn't he say it was a short-term cosmetic?
short-term fix.
I don't know.
That's,
I don't
that's the
remember
way
that.
I recall him saying it.
I don't.
I remember
I didn't like
Cosme,
it.
I remember him partially saying that, yeah.
I don't.
So, I guess, what is your point?
Well, the point is, if you had, what, $40,000, and then you spent $9 and you got a cosmetic fix, would it have been worthwhile to spend the 40 and get it done and solid?
I don't think there was anything else that could be done at this point in time. This was maybe it was a short-term fix. I've seen the metal strips in the corners.
And didn't the lawyers take half of it? Take half? I recall there was $40,000, and then the lawyers were going to take half, and then.
I don't remember that.
No.
There was some legal fees, but it came out of us. It must have come out of some other part of
Yeah.
the budget.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, Mr. Babson.
Well, if in fact, he did say that it was a short-term fix or whatever it was, and you folks remember, I don't remember it, but why wouldn't we put the remaining money in a capital reserve fund if it's pretty obvious we're gonna have to do some more fixing on it sometime down the road, rather than spend it now and then have to hassle over getting the money 2 years from now or 3 years from now?
Well, if we put it into to carry it over, we can only carry it over 2 years.
Even if it's in a capital reserve fund?
It could be, yeah, it could be put in a capital reserve.
Just let it sit there for,
That would have to get approval of the delegation to do that.
well, I would think it might be worth looking into, because I can see what's gonna happen now. We're gonna spend the $35,000 on some of Jason's other needs, and then in 2 years, the crack's gonna appear again, or
Yeah.
the frost heaves,
Yeah.
or at least put it in there for a year or 2 or 3 and see if there's any changes rather than spend it right away.
Who's this? Do you know this guy?
No. Well, that's an alternative, I guess. Maybe the delegation ought to, we can present that to the delegation on Monday and see what where they'd like to put that money, whether carry it over or capital reserve or spend it on the perimeter fence.
They're gonna return it to the taxpayer and then hassle us in 2 years when we wanna do it to fix it.
That could possibly happen. Yep. Rob, did you contact Howie or not?
Yes, I did.
Is he on his way?
Yes, he is.
Okay. And the gentleman that just came in,
Yeah, excuse me, my name's Jay Clow.
Okay. Okay, thank you. We'll be going into non-public as soon as Mr. Chandler arrives and gives his report. Any other comments at this time? Yes, Melissa?
Regarding the complaint that was filed against the commissioners on November 7th, at last week's meeting, Commissioner Kenney said that she had found someone to do that investigation.
Yep.
Did the commissioners hire an outside person?
No.
Did you? Okay. Do you have an intention to, or what? She said she had found someone, and you were going to talk about it in non-public.
Commissioner Kenney and the county attorney was charged with looking for an individual from another county to do the investigation.
As far as I know, she didn't say, she hasn't found anyone specifically.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Howie, you want to come right up?
I would be glad to. Good morning.
Good morning. You got a report to give us this morning as to what's going on at the nursing home?
Well, a brief one. Census is at 101, with one returning today from medical leave of absence from Catholic Medical Center, which will bring us to 102. We're proceeding with new admissions promptly to get us back up to operating complement of 103.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, things are actually going exceedingly well. No major issues, no personnel issues. We're doing a lot of training. What we substituted for the classic personnel issues is, I actually did a little demonstration. I was tied up next door with coaching as opposed to disciplining. I want to move the supervisors from seeing something not being right as something that's inherently disciplinary. And it's, nobody comes to work expecting to do a bad job. So oftentimes it's a matter of coaching. And that's working out exceedingly well.
Gee, I'm glad, because when I mentioned that, I was told, I used the word mentoring instead of coaching.
Same thing.
But it was not accepted, let's just put it
It
that
wasn't,
way.
well, it is certainly, it's a lot more positive.
Okay.
Because very few things, there's nothing the matter with rules, but most problems that we have, or in any organization, are going to be more with attitude. And you don't build a good attitude by meeting it with a bad attitude. So it's working out very well, and wonderful news is every supervisor, every director is completely on board with that. So I think we're seeing, without it being drastic, a subtle but important culture change.
Good.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Didn't we just complete a class of LNAs?
We did.
And did we hire any of those out of that class?
2. And we were also inspected this past Monday by the state. The state does a post-class inspection, and Patty got nothing but high marks. So we are essentially, this was our first class, so we are now essentially endorsed to do more classes, and I hope we do.
Mm-hmm.
Financially, it's actually attractive, so that it actually generates revenue but more importantly, it also identifies, we get essentially to encourage, to recruit the best of the crop. And so we've hired two excellent LNAs as a result.
We at full complement?
We still have some holes on weekends. Becky's working real hard at filling this. So my goal is that we get away from using agency staff altogether, and that we also reduce our per diems. The per diems are staff that are hired essentially by the shift and paid a premium. So our goal is to have regularly scheduled people. It'll never be 100% because there'll be call-outs. But right now we're averaging about 4 agency shifts per weekend, which is unacceptable. And I'm not exactly sure how many per diems, but it's higher than Becky likes. So we're now in the process of trying to transition people who are regularly. What has happened in the past is we have not held to our own per diem policy, which requires that if you are going to be working per diem, you also need to work at least 1 weekend a month. And we haven't been holding people to that, which has kind of contributed to some of our problems. So, but Becky is filling in again on double duty because we have our new MDS coordinator is away, and Becky wonderfully stepped up to fill in, thinking I think that it was going to be a little less demanding than it is. It's been very demanding, but it's also been a wonderful learning experience for her. But she's been a champ at being willing to volunteer and step in, when and where needed.
Okay.
That was my question.
On Monday, delegation breakfast.
Correct.
We're going to expect that somebody from each department give a 3 to 5 minute presentation as to what their responsibilities are, not to get into the budget, but just to talk about what their function is in county government. So be prepared to, I don't know whether you want to have different departments within your nursing home, give a really quick orientation for new representatives and commissioners at that time.
I would love that, but the gal who called me from the Extension Service was pretty precise at saying that I had 5 minutes, not 6, 5 minutes total to do the nursing home presentation. But I defer to you whether you'd like to see more.
We're co-sponsoring that with her, so we can make that.
Well, that's why I'm just letting you know what I heard. You signed my check, so I do what you say.
Okay.
So what would be your pleasure? I was preparing.
Be prepared, and we will let you know at that time. Okay, depending.
Well,
we're talking about a breakfast at 7:30, and they've got to be out of there and over here at 9 o'clock.
The department heads are going to be terrified if I pop it on them at the last moment. So I don't mind being flexible.
They know more about their department than anybody else, and it shouldn't take any amount of experience to talk 5 minutes about what they're responsible for. I don't mean 5 minutes. That will take too long, because we'd like to have the jail, the farm, and other departments, county attorney and so forth, registry of deeds. So it could be a long time, so it may be very brief.
Yes.
Mostly to get to know the new representatives, and there are several of them, get to know faces, so that when you do come in for the budget, they'll know who you are and what you
well, at the very least,
what you're accountable for.
At the very least, we can do introductions to put that face with a name, and if anybody has questions, they'll be ready and available.
Okay.
Won't we, Rob?
Absolutely.
Okay. You have anything else you want to?
No, everything else is actually going along well. Busy. It's been hectic. We have a number of initiatives going on, but it's been going well.
Okay. We did get a confirmation of the corrections that were made to the survey. Correct?
Oh, well, the plan of corrections.
Quite a while ago. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's all taken care of.
That's all taken care of. The plan of correction. We got confirmation from the state that not only was the plan accepted, but the 1 month review, everything was updated, and we are now essentially off inspection. So it's not only been
we're always.
They can come in at any time.
Yeah. Okay.
And we actually, as a matter of protocol, even though we're not obligated to pass that 1 month period, we continue with all the initiatives that we did during that period for the entire next year, because it's a good discipline, and it's also the state appreciates seeing that.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Do you have a quick question?
Yes, I do. Where are we on the admissions policy?
The admissions
Thing
policy.
that you set forth there. Nobody's voted on it, and I don't know that there's been any discussion on it.
The last,
Are we
the last
moving forward on
report,
it?
the last report was he was meeting with a group over at the nursing home to put together something as, the things that he has provided us were what I want to say, guiding, and we asked him to go back and talk with other people in the nursing home
Well,
as to whether that was the way it should go.
is this being done?
It is. I've been meeting weekly with Jen, and with our admissions coordinator. Everything's been a little bit of a challenge because we have some people who are away on medical leave who want to be part of the process, but not ignoring it. What we're trying to balance, the immediate part that I'm actually going to look at is one of the things that you all had done remarkably well in the design of this building was to take one of the neighborhoods in Mount Shakur and actually design it, intending it to be able to be better used for Medicare or skilled care. And so what we have this designated area that we're not taking full advantage of, and interestingly, that ties to the admission policy because, in theory, if one of those rooms were available, it might be something, a room, we were talking about just location in terms of where applicants are from, but it could get so specific that if a Carroll County resident who needed a Medicare room and a room was available in Shakur, that would be the highest and best use of that room, and also taking care of Carroll County residents at the same time. So it's going slow, but it's not being ignored.
And when do you anticipate a decision will come to fruition somewhere?
After the first of the year.
After the first of the year?
With the people that we have away, between Lisa being away and Barbara being away, it'll be the first of the year.
Barbara's away.
So sometime in January, is it fair?
I think so. As soon as we can get through the right now through the holidays, because I kind of take the position we're not going to get any smarter by taking a whole lot longer time. So we need to get something in place, at least as a starting point for the commissioners to look at.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we quickly open this up for comment before we go into non-public? Go ahead.
I did check my old story. I have internet in here, and
Your own story, yeah.
Yeah, and it did say that the wall was cosmetically changed, not it wasn't permanent. And don't take my comments as suggesting that you should or shouldn't do the perimeter fence. I was just pointing out I was kind of surprised that there was money left over.
Yeah.
I thought it would be spent. I thought it was spent on something, and it was spent on cosmetic changes. So I just thought you ought to be aware of that.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, I don't know whether I should say this or not, but this nice breakfast you're sharing with us over here at the nursing home, it was the cooperative extension end is paid for out of the pocket of the volunteer members of the advisory board.
Well, that's fine. I was asked to.
Are you putting some money in?
I was asked to co-sponsor.
Commissioner?
We didn't get to talk about anything like that. Ann talked to me about wanting to know whether we would co-sponsor it, and I said yes, we would. I think it's a good thing to do, to orient new representatives and commissioners as to what goes on here at the complex. I thought it was a great idea to have an early morning breakfast and have those people.
I do too. I'm just pointing out that you're contributing along with the members of the advisory board, not the taxpayers in Carroll County that are paying through, donating to the cooperative extension through their generous donation
there's no
every
money
year.
exchange. I think we may be looking at in-kind, the dietary department preparing the breakfast. And Rob, do you want to comment on that right now as to the breakfast itself, what's been set up and what's planned?
I was contacted by Ann Hamilton from the Cooperative Extension to arrange a breakfast for Monday at 7:30. So that's about 30 guests total. That's the delegation members, commissioners, and others from, I guess, the Cooperative Extension. So we'll be serving at 7:30 in the Mount Washington Valley room.
Okay.
And they asked for a quote, for, what the cost would be, and I quoted them $4 per person.
Okay.
And those people certainly those people on the advisory council for the UNH extension have been asked to put in some money towards this.
That's what I said.
Go ahead.
That's your other one. On a serious note, instead of pulling your chain on your share while we're paying out of our own pocket, Dave, I think it's really important on Monday is that in light of what we've just had here on the wall and the money, and he showed me the article he had written where he's quoting Mr. Benton or whatever his name is, that it's strictly cosmetic, and it probably, what you said, probably won't hold up, I think, was his quote.
Yeah.
That we ought to start off right off the bat, letting these people know what's coming down the road. And we either are going to put it in a capital fund or we're going to take and spend the money on something else. We need a decision on this so we can do it and get them going, thinking about what's going to happen.
This isn't going to be done at the breakfast.
Huh?
That's not what you're not
We're not talking about the breakfast.
going to talk about this
No,
at the
I'm
breakfast.
talking about this, I said, in a more serious note, this $35,000 that we have left over from the settlement.
Yeah.
I think we shouldn't be waiting till March or April to start to discuss it.
I
think we ought to
see.
be
Okay.
talking with the delegation first thing Monday when they meet here on a maybe new business. What do you want us to do with this money? Do you want to return it to taxes? Do you want to put it in a capital reserve fund since it appears that this isn't going to last forever? What do you want us to do?
Okay. Point taken. Okay. Any other further comment from the public? If not, we're going to go into non-public for personnel reasons. And there are two different personnel sections to the non-public meeting. And if there's anything that we can talk about after, we'll let you know next week.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
You're also having a non-public legal session?
Yes.
So there's 3.
No, that's
Two
the second
personnel
one.
and 1 legal?
No,
No.
one personnel, 1 legal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, I'll make a motion that we go into non-public for personnel
Second motion.
reasons. And roll call?
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon?
Yes, okay.